What's up, everybody, guys? How's y'all day going today? Mine is going fantastic, and we are down to three more games in this NFL season. So, if we want to look back at how my predictions have went, 174, 97, and 1 on the regular season. And last week, I went 3-3. This week, well, I guess 2 weeks ago in the wild card round, I went 3-3. This week, in the divisional round, I went 3-1. So I'm 6-4 in the playoffs. And all that could change today. I mean, Sunday's the game. Let's talk about the last week's game. Let's talk about the Broncos and Bills. I had the Broncos winning. The Broncos won 33-30. I mean, that was a great game. Bo Nix had a game of his career. Best game I've seen best Bo Nix game I've seen, and that was a great game. I mean, everybody wants to talk about that interception. That interception, I believe, was 100% interception. I believe that as Brandon Cooks was coming down, he didn't have full control, and I honestly believe Matt McMillan is the only reason that ball wouldn't have popped out of Brandon Cooks' hands. I feel like Brandon Cooks that pass would have popped out of his hands and landed on the ground, but McMillan has a hand on it as they're going down, and they hit the ground, and neither of them have full possession. They come up, and McMillan has possession of the ball, and the Broncos won because they were able to go down the field afterwards. Granted, it was from two penalties. The first penalty, that first pass interference, I think was pass interference, but I think they've been letting the players play like that all game, so I don't think that first one should have been called. But that wouldn't have mattered anyways because Joey Bosa waits until Bo Nix gets home from the game and then pops him. I mean, that was blatant roughing the passer. That was a awful play by Joey Bosa. And if there wasn't pass interference called on that play, roughing the passer also was called, and that was a difference of 2 yards. So it really doesn't matter at the end of the day there. And then that second pass interference, that was blatant pass interference. And I don't understand why Tre'Davious White went and yelled at the ref after that. That was textbook definition of pass interference. He jumps up, tackles Marvin Mims in midair, and then the ball gets there. It's textbook pass interference. Unfortunately, Bo Nix broke his the play before that on that design QB run to the left. Unfortunately, Bo Nix broke his bone in his ankle, and he's going to be out for the conference championship game. Not how you want them to see. Not how you want your season to end after your best win of the season, going into the conference. Not the time you want your backup quarterback to start. But I have all faith in Jared Stidham, as you guys will see later. And I just think, I mean, I was right on that game, and that's all that matters. And then the second game, 41-6, Seahawks for 49ers. I didn't watch that game at all. I didn't think it was going to be a good game. I thought the 49ers would lose. They lost. I got that game right. Seahawks won 41-6. It was a valiant effort from the 49ers this season. I mean, half their team ended up was on IR at least one point in the season. And then half of them are still on IR during the playoff game, and they got farther than I thought they would with their B team, especially after George Kittle went down last week. And then the game I got wrong, Texans at Patriots. I don't think CJ Stroud is a good quarterback, and he kind of just proved me right. I mean, 4 picks in the first half. Offense couldn't do anything. Granted, they were missing Nico Collins and Dalton Schultz in the first quarter tore his ACL. And if you want me to be honest with you, it kind of feels like CJ Stroud throwing a horrible fucking pass is what tore his ACL. But I digress. Patriots won 28-16. And then Rams and Bears, that was a really good game. That was a really good, fun game. Matthew Stafford looked all right. He didn't look the best. And then Caleb Williams throws that what looked to me running backwards, 1 foot, 50-yard pass that Cole Kmet comes down with and scores the touchdown. I came into 2017. I had the Rams winning. The Rams won in overtime. So I went 3-1 last week, and now let's get here. Let's start talking about this. I'm going to talk about the Seahawks and Rams game first. And earlier in the season, Rams go to Seattle and win. And then Seattle comes to Los Angeles and they won. That 2-point conversion that they scored, I don't agree with that they scored in that second matchup. I don't agree with it at all. Not the last one in overtime, but the one in the third quarter, I think. It was either third or fourth quarter where that ball, he throws a backwards pass, ball comes down on the ground. I heard whistles, so the play was ruled dead, and then the Seahawks picked it up, and then they reviewed it for like 20 minutes, and they ruled a Seahawks 2-point conversion. I don't agree with that. I think you blow the whistle, the play's over. Even if you were wrong, the play's over after you blow the whistle. But if you wanted to do something about it, I think you redo the two. I think was that a 2-point conversion? Or was that a touchdown? I'm blanking right now, but I think you redo that play and you don't just rule it. But I I don't know how bad Sam Darnold's injury is because I mean he didn't throw many passes last week. He wasn't all that good, but Kenneth Walker was a dog. 3 touchdowns on the ground. The opening kickoff by Rashid Shaheed that scored a touchdown. I'm gonna go with the Rams in this game. I think Matthew Stafford can do it. It all comes down. I think both teams are great. I think Seattle has a little better defense. I think the Rams have a better offense, and I think the Rams defense is a lot better than the offense. But to me, this game comes down to the quarterback and who do I trust the most? I trust Matthew Stafford way more than I trust Sam Darnold. And then with Sam Darnold having the injury, which I don't know if it's bad or not. I know he didn't throw a lot of passes last week, and I know it had something to do with the injury. But I trust Matthew Stafford a hell of a lot more than a regular healthy Sam Darnold, and a hell of a lot more than I trust an injured Sam Darnold. So with that being said, I'm going to go with the Rams. Now I'm gonna backtrack what I just said on this game because Broncos and Patriots. Patriots are 0-4 in the playoffs at Denver. I think the altitude's going to play a big chunk of this game. And their Harold Landry, the Patriots sack leader on the season, he's ruled out for the game. J.K. Dobbins is ruled out for the game for the Broncos. It looks like Pat Bryant, Luke Wattenberg, both will play. So that's good news. And I think what's going to win the Broncos this game is the trenches. Yeah, Jared Stidham's there. I think Jared Stidham is a starting caliber quarterback in this league. I mean, I think Drake May is better, but I think Jared Stidham is a starting caliber player in this league. I think the Broncos defense is better. I think the pass rush, the game's going to be won in the trenches, and I think the Broncos pass rush is going to destroy the Patriots O-line, and I think the offensive line on Denver is going to hold up the Patriots. And I just think this game is going to be a Denver win. It's going to be a good, hard-fought battle, but I think the trenches is where Denver's going to win this football game, offense and defensive line. And Cortland Sutton is going to be an X factor in this game, and Pat Bryant returning is going to be an X factor as well. We'll see what happens, but I think the Broncos are the better team, and I think the Broncos are going to win the Super Bowl. I think the Broncos will go against the Rams, and I think our defense, our secondary will outshine Puka and Devontae, and I think the Broncos can win the Super Bowl, even without Bo Nix. But that being said, that is my decision on the games this week. But that's not all for this video, because this video is also going to be my NFL award predictions, because they have been released. The awards have been released. I'm just finding a picture. So the finalists for all the rewards have been released. The top four, was it? Top four, top five? I gotta find it. There we go. So we're gonna start with offensive offensive rookie of the year. The four nominees are Jackson Dart, Emeka Ibuka, Travion Henderson, Tedderola McMillan, and Tyler Shuck. So in fourth place for offensive rookie of the year is Jackson Dart for me. I think Jackson Dart was good. He didn't start the first few games of the season, and the concussions the other few games of the season, and along with the Giants not winning all that much, I think that's what knocks him down to four for me. With the third, Emeka Ibuka. I think Emeka Ibuka had a great first 5 weeks of the season, but after the first 5 weeks of the season, you didn't hear much from him. He kind of just disappeared, and I don't think he was as dominant as he was. And for the second is Tyler Shuck. I think he changed that Saints organization. He came in midway through the season, and they won a handful of games just based off of his ability. I didn't think he was going to be good. I thought he was going to be bad, but he ended up surprising me, and he was really good. Sorry, I just realized I just counted again. There's five of them, and I didn't give you guys my number five. My number five is actually Jackson Dart, and my number four is Travion Henderson. I think he's had a great season at running back. But the one that matters the most, my offensive rookie of the year. This stats are not going to be correct, but I will show you who my offensive rookie of the year is. And that would be the Panthers, Tedero McMillan. I think he had a great season, and I think he wholeheartedly deserves the offensive rookie of the year. The plays he was making and how he helped the struggling, being the only consistent in that offense other than the run in the pass game. Bryce Young, he was decent, but that was off the back of a great wide receiver always finding a way to get open. And I just think he's what made the offense so manageable in the Panthers organization. So defensive player of the year, my number five. And honestly, this might just be because I don't know about him very much. I never really heard his name be called this year. I mean, he obviously was good because I didn't hear his name being called this year. And it's Xavier Watts out of Notre Dame. He's my number five. I don't have much to say about him, to be honest, because I didn't see a lot about him. And then my next one is from the Giants, Abdul Carter. I think he was pretty good from what I seen of him, but I just don't think he got a lot of time to play. I mean, he's playing behind Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns, and missing meetings and stuff like that. I think he's going to be a great player, but I just don't think he was the rookie of the year this year. My number three is James Pierce Jr., and he had a great season. Pretty sure. He had a pretty solid sack numbers on the season. He was a beast, and he helped that Falcons pass rush that the Falcons have not had in forever. And he was a pretty important piece of that. And then my number two is Nick Immanwai. He had a great season on one of the best defenses in the league, and he helped them skyrocket. And he helped the Seattle Seahawks go to the playoffs and helped them in the biggest games on the season. And my number one, which pretty much been my number one all year, he's been the best rookie on defense to me. He's been the best rookie this year. It's Carson Schlesinger. He was a tackling machine. He had a few picks on the season, tackling machine. sack. He was really good this year, and I think he was a great player this year. Now we're gonna go to offensive player of the year. My number five. Which this one is tough. My number five is actually Drake May, and that's mostly just I mean, he was really accurate this year. One of the most accurate quarterbacks, the most accurate quarterbacks in the league this year. I just for offensive player for me, I just don't normally go towards quarterbacks, especially when you have my number four and Bijan Robinson doing it all on the running backs, the running side, and the passing side. He had 2,000. I'm pretty sure he had 2,000 all-purpose yards this year. He just had a great season. And then my number two, the number one and two was so hard for me to choose between, but I'm gonna go with number two as Puka. I think both Puka and JSN had a great season this year, but I just think JSN leading it all through the year, leading it on a being number one on deep pass rating. I just think Jackson Smith Najigba was the best of the year. And then now we go to defensive player of the year. And I honestly can be sound like a hater because I think this guy is so overrated. But I at my number five, it's Micah Parsons, and it's mostly because he didn't finish out the season. He got hurt against the Broncos, and that was the game before that was like week 14, week 15, week 14. He got hurt against the Broncos, and he just didn't finish off the season. And that's what I'm gonna rank him on. And then my number four is Will Anderson. He had a pretty remarkable season for a pass rusher. He had double digit sacks, few forced fumbles, called game on a few plays, and I think he was really good this year. And he would be my number four. My number three, no, my number three, Aiden Hutchinson. Hutch coming off of an injury, played a great year. He had a great year. I would have thought he would have came back with some rust because of that injury, but double digit sack year, and I just think Aiden Hutchinson is number three, and then number two for me is my guy. This could be Broncos bias, but number two for me is Nick Bonito. Nick Bonito had a great year. Great beginning of the year. A little sluggish in the middle of the year, but he came back and finished hard in the end of the year. But we all know who's going to be number one. It's going to be Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett broke the sack record. Myles Garrett broke the sack record this year, and he just deserves it. And then my next award is Comeback Player of the Year. My number five for Comeback Player of the Year is Trevor Lawrence. He had a great end of the year, decent beginning of the year, and a middle of the year. But my problem with Trevor Lawrence is I thought he was going to be a bust when he was drafted. He's not a bust. He hasn't been great. He's been serviceable. But you're going to get an interception from him at the worst time every year. So, I mean, I go with Trevor Lawrence as five. And number four is Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs has been great with the Patriots this year. He had a great season. He helped Drake May have one of the best completion percentages in the league. He's helped the Patriots go to 14-3 from missing the playoffs last year, and he had a remarkable season. My number three is Aiden Hutchinson. I like I said earlier, he had a great season coming off of that ankle injury, and I just I think for me, I value offense a little higher than I value defensive players. And the two offensive players are just were just so good this year, and Christian McCaffrey and Dak Prescott, which leads me to my number two is Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey had a great season running and passing this year, but I think Dak Prescott, who I think is going to win, comeback player of the year, Dak Prescott. I mean, he almost threw for 5,000 yards. He was almost the number one passer in the league this year, and he had a great season coming off. Yeah, he's throwing to two great wide receivers, and that's tight end. This Cowboys offense for half the year was the number one offense in the league, and that was being led by Dak Prescott at quarterback. So I don't know the criteria for this award yet, but protector of the year. This I don't know how no nominations for this one had came out. So for me, protector of the year, I have my top three, and my number three is Quinn Miners. Best right guard in football. Had a great season this year with all that. He's just such a great offensive lineman. My number two would be. I'm just going to gloss over this one because I don't know the criteria. My number two would. Where is it at? Would be Penei Sewell. He's just one of the best offensive linemen in the year in the league. So he has to be on the protector of the year ballot for me, and he would be my number two because my number one would be Garrett Bowles. Yes, I have two Broncos in the top three for the protector of the year, but both Broncos first team All Pros, and Garrett Bowles never at left tackle, never allowed a sack this year. He had a best season of his career, and he was a anchor on that offensive line, the best offensive line in the league, who had two All Pros. I think it's Garrett Bowles. Which would bring me next to Assistant Coach of the Year. My number three for Assistant Coach of the Year is Josh McDaniels. I think the Patriots offense just with Drake May as starter, coming in as a new, not new coach, but coming back on a new staff to your old team, the Patriots. Josh McDaniels had a great year. The Patriots offense looked amazing, and I just think you got to give him the nod for number three. And my number two is I don't think this offense was as good as the. I think this offense was more well-rounded than the Patriots, and it's Clint Kubiak to me. I think Clint Kubiak is the best offensive coordinator in the league, and what he did with Seattle this year was nothing less than amazing. My number one for assistant coach of the year is Vance Joseph. That Broncos defense gave every opponent hell this year. That defense was firing on all cylinders. Almost got the record for most sacks in a season. Everybody on that pass rush getting to the quarterback and that secondary being as good as it is with all those players. I think Vance Joseph gets the nod for assistant coach of the year for me, which would lead me to coach of the year. There's five, and my number five is Mike McDonald. I think Mike McDonald is a great. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got that. I got my own ballot wrong. My number five is Liam Cohen, which I mean might be a bad call. I think Liam Cohen might be a little overrated. Yes, he took a team that was missed the playoffs last year, had a top 10 draft pick, had a top five draft pick. Well, they five or six. They were either five or six last year, and he took them to being 12-5. Was it? I mean, he had a great season, but I don't know if that was. I feel like the Jacksonville Jaguars had the talent before, and I think they were really bad injury luck last year. and I think they added some good pieces in the draft. I think that trade for Jacoby Myers midway through the season helped their offense. I just don't think he was the best coach of the year. I mean, I think he might be a little overrated, but my number four would be Mike Vrabel. Yes, he did the exact same thing. Not the exact same thing, but he led a top three team in the draft last year, which to the playoffs, 14-3, one of the best records in the NFL. I don't think that is enough for me, honestly, and that's gonna sound crazy compared to because my number three is Mike McDonald. I think he's that what he did to that Seattle Seahawks defense and what he did on the road the last few seasons and what he has done on the road this year. I think it's amazing the way his defense is firing on all cylinders. I think Mike McDaniel's a hell of a coach. McDonald's a hell of a coach. My number two would be Ben Johnson, what he did for that Bears offense this year and led him to the number two seed in the NFC. Caleb Williams was sacked 60 some times last year. Now he's only sacked 20 sometimes this year. He got that offensive line shaped up. He got that running game clicking on all cylinders. He got Caleb Williams looking like what everybody thought he would be out of the draft. Yeah, to me, it's just Ben Johnson is number two. My number one would be Kyle Shanahan. What he had to do and what he had to navigate with all those injuries, and still with third stringers, fourth stringers, practice squad players getting his team into the final week of the season, having a shot at getting the number one seed, is nothing less than phenomenal. The injury, not having his quarterback for half of the year. I mean, Kyle Shanahan put on a coaching masterclass, and Kyle Shanahan is the coach of the year, in my opinion. And now we go over here to the last step, which is Hall of Fame. I don't. This is always a tricky one, but I put in my ballot and who I think is going to be in the Hall of Fame this year. It's either 4 to 8 player. It's either 4 to 8 people. I have six. Drew Brees, top second in passing yards all time, second in passing touchdown all time behind Tom Brady, above Peyton Manning. Drew Brees had a hell of a career, a Super Bowl champion, multiple time Pro Bowler. Drew Brees is one of the best quarterbacks of all time, and he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Then you got Larry Fitzgerald. I think he's going to be a first time Hall of Famer. Second in catches, second in yards, I don't know if he's second in touchdowns. I know he's second in yards and catches. Only behind Jerry Rice. Never got a Super Bowl win, but I don't think that matters. I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Just like this next guy, I think there's going to be 4 first ballot Hall of Famers because Luke Kuechly, his career cut short to injury. This is the one I'm most unsure about. He had a great career, but it was short career, and I think Luke Kuechly deserves to be. I don't know if he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I do believe he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Just like I believe Marshall Yanda deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, the offensive tackle from the Ravens. Was he a left tackle or a left guard? I remember him being on the left side. But Marshall Yanda, one of the best linemen of me growing up, watching, he was one of the best linemen in the league. I think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Robert Kraft, I believe he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He's in the finalist voting as an owner. I think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. With Tom Brady, he had 10 Super Bowl appearances, 6 Super Bowl wins. I think, or is it 5 Super Bowl wins and he got that sixth one? Or is it 9 appearances? I don't remember off the top of my head exactly. Does Brady have 5 or 6 rings? Can I check it here? think Brady will be here. No. Does Brady have 5 or 6 rings? Either way, him and Bill Belichick. I believe Bill Belichick is a Hall of Fame head coach, and I believe he's a first ballot Hall of Fame head coach, and Bill Belichick is on the list. So that is who I believe will be in the Hall of Fame. I have Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, Marshall Yanda, Bill Belichick, Luke Kuechly, and Robert Kraft making the Hall of Fame this year. And then the one everybody's been waiting for, the most important award is MVP. And you got Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, Drake May, Christian McCaffrey, and Matthew Stafford. I think Trevor Lawrence is 5th. I think he's not even going to get a first round vote. I feel like he was just here to be here. I think Bo Nix should have been 5th. I think Bo Nix had a better case than Trevor Lawrence. Number 4, I think is going to be Christian McCaffrey. It's a quarterback award. Yes, a running back can win it, but I don't think a running back will win it, especially when 2 of the quarterbacks had a season that they had this year. Christian McCaffrey has a good case, but I don't think he's going to get it. And then number 3 is Josh Allen. He won MVP last year. He had a decent season this year, but he had a worse season than he had the year before. And I think that's the reason he's not going to win MVP this year. And now it comes down to number 2. My number 2 is Drake May. Drake May had a great year, one of the most accurate passers. I think what brings Drake May down for me is his schedule. Yeah, you can't control your schedule. I think Matthew Stafford just had a better year. More passing yards, more passing touchdowns, played tougher opponents. He didn't get the number. He got, I don't know, his team into the wild card. Yeah. He had better weapons. Yeah. Drake May had a better offensive line statistically. Drake May had a better defense with him. Matthew Stafford and Drake May had a better running game. In my opinion, Matthew Stafford had better receiving core, but I just think Matthew Stafford was the best quarterback this year, and I don't think it was remotely close. I don't think it was even remotely close. I think Matthew Stafford is a clean-cut MVP, and to me, out of everybody that was nominated, I think Matthew Stafford is a unanimous MVP. Let me know what you guys think. We'll go over this one more time. MVP Matthew Stafford, Offensive Rookie of the Year Jackson Smith-Njigba, Defensive Player of the Year Myles Garrett, Offensive Player of the Year Teddarilla McMillan, Defensive Player of the Year Carson Schlesinger, Protector of the Year Garrett Bowles, Comeback Player of the Year Dak Prescott, Coach of the Year Kyle Shanahan, Assistant Coach of the Year Vance Joseph, in the Hall of Fame Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, Marshall Yanda, Bill Belichick, Luke Kuechly, and Robert Kraft. And just in case you guys want it, I did have one for Walter Payton Man of the Year, and to me that also goes to Garrett Bowles. I don't really know the criteria on voting for that, so that could just be Broncos bias right there. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. Let me hear your guys' opinion on the award. Let me hear your guys' opinion on the game. I do have one more thing to say about the Seahawks and Rams game, and that is the Seahawks play a lot better on the road than they do at home. And with that being said, that makes me lean more towards the Rams even more as well. But anyways, I got the Broncos and Rams in the Super Bowl, and I got the Broncos beating the Rams in the Super Bowl. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.